What's up everyone, my name's Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Radical Red and today's video is pretty special. Well, not really, we're on Pokemon Radical Red and today's challenge will be can I beat Pokemon Radical Red hardcore mode with only shiny Pokemon. Back in the day, like a couple months ago, my most popular video on my channel is a Pokemon Radical Red shiny only challenge. Now today, since there is a brand new hardcore mode release, I think we gotta redo it and then try to figure out Radical Red using only shiny Pokemon. I'm actually excited because you guys are also excited because you guys are theorizing that this is my next video, and yes, you guys are right. And it's not a fun video to make. I'll tell you that it took a lot of hours. The rundown of the rules are I can only use shiny Pokemon to progress through the game. Now there might be some exclusions at some point, I'll point them out. But that's for the most part. I cannot use items inside of battle because we can't. Anyways, we have to play on hardcore mode, which is the hardest difficulty to date on Radical Red. And the final rule, most important rule, each of my Pokemon, each of my shiny Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. Here are the nicknames I picked out for this challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a Pokemon in my challenge video, just drop it in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you guys are down there, do not forget to leave a like, comment down below some challenge ideas just like this one, and subscribe if you guys are not already. It will really help my channel. Over 77% of you guys are not subscribed. Subscribe right now because this took a long time to do. Anyways, let's get into the challenge itself. This might get a few people triggered or upset, but I'm technically not going to use my Squirtle because I'm not going to spend a lot of time just looking for my Squirtle right now, because we're not going to use a Squirtle on our team. I didn't plan to use a Squirtle on my team at all because we can't even use setup moves, so the starters are kind of useless, not going to lie. And now we got to go out and hunt for a shiny Pokemon. Now our first shiny Pokemon we're hunting is a Wooloo, and this actually took 15 minutes to find. I was really confused on how fast I found it. As you can see, I'll show all the live videos of it, and we just found a shiny Wooloo. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm capturing this. So we got our first shiny Pokemon will be a Wooloo. I do not want to spend 35 hours of hunting just for a few Pokemon. I'm just gonna try to find the best Pokemon I think suits the best for a generic team until we get into Celadon City, where we could get shiny Pokemon easier. But until then, we're gonna try to find as good of a team as we can. So as you can see, I'm finding a Starly as my next Pokemon. Caught him in the last Pokemon. So I also went out and hunt some Maloos. It didn't work out. I did not find one, so I had to come back at a different time. 10,000 random encounter later, we found a shiny Shinx, and not really fun. This took over, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours of just finding all these shiny Pokemon. It was not fun to do. But eventually we found a Shinx. We also went back, we found a Galarian Sandshrew as well. This took about 8,000, maybe 9,000 random encounters. I was here for a very long time finding Sandshrews, but eventually we do find it. Finally, we could progress through the game a little bit. We're gonna fight against Brendan first. Finally, progress through the game, get the XP share, so leveling up will be easier, and then face off against Faulkner next. Now, Faulkner is a pretty easy battle, as you can see. We're beating down Staravia pretty quickly, and unfortunately for most of my Pokemon, they are the wrong abilities. So Shinx does not have Intimidate. Staravia does not have Intimidate. It actually has Reckless, and Shinx has Guts, and also my Wooloo doesn't have Fluffy. It actually has Runaway. So we have just a bunch of wrong abilities. We can't even use it correctly. So in an ideal run, in an ideal world, we would not get this unlucky where we got a bunch of bad ability Pokemon. At the bare minimum, we're playing on minimum grinding, so there is no bad Pokemon per se. They have perfect EVs and IVs. And as well, after we beat Faulkner, we're gonna go back into Viridian City and then catch ourselves a shiny Morel. And finally, we're gonna head into the first gym of the game. Now, the first gym of the game is against Brock, of course, and we're gonna start the battle using our Galarian Sandshrew. We're gonna crit the Hippopotas and then Ice Shard it to knock it out. Then it's gonna send out his Cacnea next. I decided to Ice Shard it twice and then knock it out. Then it's gonna send out his Lunatone. I want to keep this because it's gonna be very useful in the future. So I want to sack my Wooloo because I don't think it's gonna do anything. If it had Fluffy, it could be useful, but it doesn't have Fluffy. So gotta sack my Wooloo, then send in my Morel, and then Mega Drain will knock out the Lunatone for us. As Brock sends out Leleep next. Leleep's gonna knock out my Morel, and then I'm gonna send in my Sandshrew next. Sandshrew is actually gonna get an attack boost using Metal Claw, and then we'll knock him out using Ice Ball. And then he's gonna send out an Arcan next. I'm able to survive a U-turn and then knock out his Sandshrew in the back with an Ice Ball as he sends out his Arcan to knock me out. Then I'm gonna send in my Staravia to growl him, weaken down his attack so I can guarantee my Luxio in the back can knock out the Arcan. And just like that, we beat Brock. So first gym down, not too bad. 6-7 hours into playing Radical Red, we finally get our first gym badge. From there, we're gonna go into the mini bosses of the next few routes. So we gotta beat this route right before Mount Moon, and it took a few attempts. Also, in Mount Moon, there's two mini bosses in here. Firstly, this double battle that completely destroyed me. As you see, I'm not dealing with this, so I gotta restart and leave. And then we have to face off against Archer. Luckily, Archer is a bit easier. I mean, easier in quotation marks, but we got through Archer because our Luxio double paralyzed the Mightyana and the Houndar. So we're gonna knock out Archer and then head into the Nugget Bridge where we're gonna face off against our rival. Now, rival, it's a harder battle, but we got through it. There's a mini boss at the end of the bridge that is very, very annoying. So it took us a few attempts to get through that as well, but we're gonna train up our Pokemon. Most of our Pokemon evolves to at least their second stage at this point. And now, before we advance into the next gym, we're gonna go around and face off against the Raid Dents. Now, what we want to do here, there is a 30% chance that each of the Raid Dents will drop us an ability capsule, and we want that to put on our Pokemon. And we're going to put our ability capsule on our Shiinotic to get Effect Spore, and also our Wooloo to get Fluffy. Now it's a big fluff ball, so it can take physical attacks easier. Next up, we're going to head into Misty's gym next. Misty's going to be the water gym of Saruni City. We're going to start with the battle using our Staravia to do Wing Beat, knock down the Politoed to about half HP, then it's going to switch out into Sparrow Seed. Then I'm going to switch out myself into Sandshrew. Then 10 million IQ play, double switch into my Shiinotics in front of the Starmie. You know, I've been rematching them a lot and failing a lot because I know how the AI thinks. Mega Dream would knock out the Starmie, and then the Pharaoh Seed will come out next. The only Pokemon on my team that can remotely kill the Pharaoh Seed is this Pokemon, Sandshrew, and luckily Ice Ball is actually a good enough move to knock out the Sandshrew in 3 shots. Then it's gonna knock me out using a Politoed, completely fine. As I send in my Shiinotics next, then it's gonna switch out into this Toxicroak as I put it to sleep. Send in my Staravia to do Wing Beat to knock it out, and then it's gonna send in this Politoed once again. I do a bit more chip damage, it's gonna knock me out. Send in my Shiinotic once again to put something to sleep, of course. It's gonna come out with his Mantine. I completely forgot it had a Mantine in the back, but I'm able to switch out into my Luxio, hit it with a Spark, and then it's gonna switch out into his Ludicolo, get paralyzed. And I mean, it's going bad for Misty, I'm not gonna lie. So we get some damage off with our double against the Ludicolo. Our Shiinotics will knock out the Ludicolo for us as the Politoed comes out next. It's gonna knock me out, and then my Luxio will finish things off, knock out the Politoed, and knock out the Mantine. Things are going pretty smoothly for us. As we head into Vermilion City next, we're gonna beat down Brandon, get the lucky eggs of course, and then head into the SSN next. In the SSN, we're just gonna get some XP on our Pokemon because, I mean, we just gotta get some XP on our Pokemon. We had a Luxray, of course, and then we're gonna head into Lieutenant Surge's gym next. Now, when I faced off against Lieutenant Surge, I really thought I was not gonna beat it because I have a Staraptor, I have a Flying type. I basically have 4 Pokemon. It's not really gonna turn out well, so this is all for jokes. I want to see like how far we can get, and ironically, we got pretty far. I'll show you. Anyways, we're gonna start the battle using our Shiinotic against his Dedenne. We're gonna knock out his Dedenne using Giga Drain, and then he's gonna send us Manectric next. I'm like, whoa, this is a scary Pokemon. So I send in my Luxray next. I'm gonna Swagger him. He actually hits himself in confusion, and then I knock him out as I take a Rising Voltage to the face, and then Bite will knock him out. Then he's gonna send us Electivire next. I decided to switch into my double. Double will actually almost 1v1 the Electivire. Not too bad. If I got one more hit off, it would have got knocked out. But luckily, my Staraptor quick attacks knocks him out. Then he's gonna send out his Raichu, and I could take down him. I will Wakam Berry on to absorb the electric move, and take down with a quick attack would knock him out. And then he's gonna send out his Rotom. I decided to stay in, take down him, get him low on HP, to switch out into my Shiinotic, Giga Drain him, and knock him out. And then his Hitmonlee on the back will not do anything to me because I have Drain Kiss, and I'll get my HP back as he's unable to knock me out, and we beat Lieutenant Surge somehow. What? How did Staraptor actually put in so much work? Like, we actually destroyed Lieutenant Surge. Like, we just picked apart his team easily. Anyways, we can head into the Rock Tunnel next after that very confusing battle. We got 3 badges, so I'm not really complaining. Anyways, after this, we're gonna head into the Rock Tunnel. We're gonna clear through this. I mean, not too much. The mini bosses in here aren't that hard. My team is coming together pretty nicely. We're actually gonna evolve our Sandshrew finally into a Sandslash. We're also gonna go back into Vermilion City to get some bottle caps in the routes right next to it. Once we get the bottle caps, we're gonna switch the abilities of my Luxray into Intimidate. Switch my ability on my Staraptor into Intimidate, and switch my Sandslash ability into Ice Scales, so it takes half damage to special moves, which is actually amazing because it has really bad special defense. Anyways, we're gonna head into Erica's gym next. Erica's gonna be the grass type gym leader of the game. We're gonna start the battle using our newly found Sandslash. We're gonna restart until we got Iron Head. You could say this is cheap, you could say this is like RNG manipulation, but they have so much advantage. You guys cannot complain that I'm taking advantage of this situation. I'm gonna get an Iron Head flinch on the Cradley, then I'm gonna knock him out, and then no one's gonna have a problem with that. Next, I'm gonna switch out into a Staraptor to get intimidated on the Kartana. I'm actually gonna endeavor it to get it lower on HP and then switch it out. Save it for later, you'll see why. Switch out into my Sand Slash because I couldn't absorb any grass move, and then Ice Shard will knock out the Kartana easily. As it sends out his Renewiclus next, I'm gonna switch into my Dark type Luxray. Is a Dark type in this game, and I'm gonna crunch it down. And if I just keep crunching, it just misses all his moves, so I'm fine with that. We're gonna knock out the Renewiclus as he sends out his Hawlucha next. Then I'm gonna switch into my Shiinotics. Then I'm gonna switch in between my Shiinotic and my Luxray to get the Intimidate off on it to lower his attack stat. And then eventually I'm gonna Spark it. I gotta sack someone, so who am I gonna sack? Who am I gonna sack? Oh, Double is always a good sack, but no, I'm gonna switch into Shiinotic, sack it to the Hawlucha, and then switch into my Sand Slash, Ice Shard it, knock him out. Then he's gonna send on his Venusaur next. I gotta switch into my Double to sack it. Now, this is the time to sack the Double. Once Double gets sacked, I'm gonna switch into my Staraptor to endeavor the Venusaur because I outspeed it. Then my Sand Slash will Ice Shard it, knock him out, as the final Pokemon will be a Rotom Mow. And Ice Cold Spear will knock out the Rotom Mow for us as we beat Erica. And that is an amazing sentence because we beat Erica. Now, a lot of things open up for us now. The game corner opens up for us, so we're going to go back into Pewter City. There is a patch of grass in Pewter City that has a bunch of Pokemon in here. Mainly, they have Meowth. Now, we want to go in here and then get 40 golden nuggets. Each of them are worth $5,000, so we need 40 of them to get a new Pokemon. In the game corner, you can buy one of the pseudo legendaries or close to pseudo legendaries for $100,000, but you could pay $100,000 more to get a shiny. That's exactly what we're gonna do. We actually got 80 golden nuggets, so we get ourselves a Honedge and also a Rotom. So we got 2 of the Pokemon so far, and then we're gonna evolve our Rotom into a Rotom Wash, as you can see from there. And we also have ourselves an Aegislash. And now this is looking like a good team. We're gonna go into the Rocket Hideout. We're gonna beat down Giovanni, of course, just like always. You know, if my team is good enough, Giovanni is not a threat at all. And as you can see, Rotom Wash already putting in work. Now we're gonna head into Lavender Tower. Clearing through Lavender Tower is not that bad, as you can see. I mean, my last Pokemon, 10 HP, you know, not difficult at all. After that, we're gonna go into Silph Co. We're gonna clear through Silph Co, get our XP, get the items. Unfortunately, the TMs are useless for us, so Bulk Up and Dragon Dance is completely useless to us because they completely banned that. Anyways, from there, we're gonna face off against our rival. He gets beat up relatively easily, and then we're gonna go into the fight against Archer and Ariana. And in this fight, thank God for Brendan, because Brendan just saves our lives because we really didn't do anything. I'll be honest, Brendan just murdered everyone else. Anyways, from there, we're going to face off against Giovanni. And Giovanni, like I said before, Giovanni is absolutely not that threatening if I have a really good team. I endeavor down the Garchomp, and then he's going to send out his Regirock. I mean, I have a bunch of counters in the back. I have Shiinotic right here. We're going to knock him out, and then we beat Giovanni. We're also going to go into the Fighting Dojo. We're going to beat down Chuck real quick. Just clear it through because we need that clear for later. Now we can go into a difficult part of the game where we face off against Sabrina. Now, Sabrina, don't like Sabrina. Sabrina took me about an hour and a half to figure out. We did not work with this team. This team did not work out too well. So we're gonna go back into Pewter City. We're gonna go find some new nuggets. We're gonna go find 40 new nuggets, so another 15 minutes of getting nuggets. And then we're gonna go back into the game corner to buy ourselves a new Pokemon. We're gonna buy ourselves a Toxel, which evolves into Toxicity, which will be good later down the line because we get the Mega Stone for it eventually. And unfortunately, even with that, we're still not good enough to beat down this team. So Sabrina is going crazy against us. So we gotta go back, get another 40 nuggets, come back to the game corner, and then get ourselves a shiny Beldum. Now, finally, something very useful. 200,000. How much did we spend on this? Almost $1 million we have spent on Pokemon so far. Spoiler alert, we get one more Pokemon, so we do spend that $1 million mark. So we get the shiny Beldum, we're going to put it on our team, and then finally face off against Sabrina. Now, to start off against Sabrina, she can start with her Tapu Fini and her Camera. I'm going to start off with Aegislash on the left and then Rotom on the right, so I can protect with my Aegislash and then Hydro Pump, knock out the Camera. Next up is Constantinous Magnero next. I'm going to Shadow Claw it. Hopefully it does some chip damage. And I'm also going to switch out my Rotom into my Toxicity to take any attacks. I have a Citrus Berry on it so I can absorb the attacks and then absorb another one if they hit me again. And then I'm going to Thunderbolt down the Tapu Fini. Live a Moonblast, luckily. Then we're gonna knock out the Tapu Fini. Magnero gets boosted up, so we gotta be careful with that thing. We're gonna sack our Toxicity now. We're gonna do some chip damage with our H-Slash to the Glacier, and then switch into our Metagross. Now I'm gonna King Shield up, because they're gonna attack me, obviously. Then Meteor Mash will knock out the Glacier for us. And then the Magnero is still alive. Luckily, there is not a Psychic Terrain up, so we can use priority moves as the Melmetal comes out next. I'm gonna Shadow Sneak and also Bullet Punch and knock out the Magnero. Unfortunately, our Metagross goes down, but I mean, the job is done. We knock out 2 Pokemons with 1. So I'm going to switch into my Rotom next. Her last 2 Pokemon are in front of us, a Jellicent and Melmetal. I'm going to Volt Switch into the Jellicent and protect my H-Slash as it's going to Water Spout me. Then a Volt Switch almost knock him out. I'm going to switch into my Staraptor next. Luckily enough, I have Shadow Sneak, almost knock out the Jellicent with it, and Close Combat will do a hefty amount to Melmetal. As my H-Slash finally goes down, I'm going to switch into my Sandslash. Ice Shard will knock out the Jellicent, switch out my Staraptor into Rotom. And then we could finally double down on the Melmetal, and we could finally beat Sabrina after this hour-and-a-half nuisance. Cannot believe this took so long. We got some nice Pokemon on our team. Unfortunately though, there's something coming up that's very annoying. As we head down Cycling Road into Fuchsia City, we're gonna go into Fuchsia City, get the Super Rod, and then go back into Vermilion City, get all the Heart Scales we want, you know, Heart Scale catching. We're gonna beat down Brendan. You know, everything's going pretty well for us right now. We beat Brendan. We head into the Safari Zone next. We get all the items we want. Now, what's the bad part, you might be asking? We go into Fuchsia City's gym now, and it says come back after you rematch some gym leaders. So we have to rematch Brock first. So beat down Brock. Took a few attempts, but we eventually beat down Brock. We put some egg moves on our Pokemon, so they are a bit more useful. Brock's down. Then we have to face off against Misty next. A bunch of electric types on our team, and also we have Destiny Bond on our H-Slash for that. Then face off against Lieutenant Surge. Not much to say here. I mean, he's just bad. We beat Surge. The final gym leader we got a rematch is Erica. Luckily enough, we don't have to face off against Sabrina, but we beat Erica, and we are finally have access to the Fuchsia City gym. We go through it pretty fast, so try to keep up with me. So we're going to start the battle using our Metagross against the Tapu Lele. We're going to Meteor Mash it to knock it out in one shot. Then it's going to switch out into his Crocodile. I'm going to switch out into my Shinotix. He actually gets paralyzed with me, but normally I Spore it down, but I could just Giga Drain, keep my HP, and then knock it out. Then it's going to send out his Nidoking. I need to switch into my Metagross first, evade the poison move, and then switch into my Rotom, then evade the ground move. Now, none of them gets damage at all, as I can Hydro Pump it, knock it out in one shot. Next up, it's going to send out his Kyurem White. It's kind of a string thing. So I'm going to switch into my Metagross, sack it, switch into my H-Slash. I could live one Fusion Flare, and then Destiny Bond will take him down. We sack our H-Slash for the Kyurem, and then it can send out his Surf Edge. I can survive an attack using my double, and counter will knock him out. Sack my double to the Toxicity, and then switch out into my Sandslash to Bulldoze and knock out the Toxicity. So, I mean, lucky enough, we got through Koga in 1 second. Each of the Pokemon went down pretty fast. Now, before we move on, Koga does want a fast Pokemon. I didn't know what he meant by that, so I just caught a Nincada, evolved it into a Ninjask, and then showed it to him. And he was really excited, and he gave me a Toxicity Megastone, and also the Life Orb. So we got some nice items just showing him a Ninjask. From there, though, we're going to head into Seafoam Island next, and clear through this, beat down Price, of course, and then get ourselves a Choice Scarf. Nothing too difficult out here. As well, we're going to go into Cinnabar Island next. We're going to face off against Jasmine, and I mean, her Necrozma gets annoying, but eventually we do knock out the rest of her team. But eventually we do knock out the Magnezone, and we get the Choice Band from her. So we're getting some nice items from here. And I decided I need one more new Pokemon. I decided to go back into Pewter City, get all the nuggets I want, of course. Get about another 45 nuggets, because I got to train it up too. And then finally get our final Pokemon, which is a Dratini. Our last shiny Pokemon of the day will be Dratini. And we're going to go train it up for a little bit, evolve it, and then train it up to evolve it, of course. And then we are ready to face off against Blaine next. Now, Blaine is going to be the 7th gym leader of the game. We're going to start the battle using our newly found Green Dragonite. We're going to Dragon Rush the Heliolisk, and then Extreme Speed it to knock it out. Then it's going to send out his Groudon next. Of course, the thing's kind of scary, so I got to sack my Rotom Wash. Surprisingly, I got to sack the Water type in the Fire Gym, but the Water type is the least useful. Switch into my H-Slash, survive one Heat Crash, and then take it down with Destiny Bond. Because, you know, I always use Destiny Bond. Anyways, I'm going to switch into my Dragonite next against his Typhlosion, break his Blazing Soul Blaze. I don't know what it's called. I keep saying Blazing Soul Blaze. I'm not too sure what it is, but I'm going to Mega with my Toxicity and then outspeed it. Thunderbolt, knock him out. Then he can send out his Ground Sill Valley. So I switch into my Staraptor in the back. I switch Staraptor's ability back into Reckless so I could double edge, almost knock out the Sill Valley in one shot. And then switch into my Toxicity to take the Rock Slide and then knock it out using Boom Burst. Then he can send out his Charizard next. I'm like, I'm just gonna stay in Boom Burst. He's gonna knock himself out and me with Flare Blitz. And then his final Pokemon will be Venusaur. Luckily, Crunch gets a defense drop, but I don't think it really matters. Pretty quick out here. Anyways, we're gonna head into Cerulean Cave next. We're gonna do some training and beat down the Team Rocket Grunts. And then we are going to face off against one of the most annoying battles. Luckily, I'm proud of myself because we got through this fairly quickly, surprisingly. So we're going to face out against Archer and Ariana in consecutive battles. So we're going to start off the battle against Archer first. So using my Toxicity. Toxicity actually knocks out the Ninetales and the Executor for us. So amazing job over there. 10 out of 10. Quality. And then eventually we'll beat down Archer using our Staraptor. We lose 3 Pokemon, I think. Not too bad. I mean, 3 Pokemon was okay. And then we face off against Ariana next. Now Ariana, we take down the Porygon 2. Now we're trying to avoid way around the Trick Room. Our double actually gets a lucky paralyze on the Hoopa as the Trick Room comes up, so I'm able to knock out the Hoopa and the Porygon 2. Then he can send out a Sock next. I could both switch it, break a sturdy, switch into my H-Slash, and I'm able to Iron Head it, survive an Earthquake from it, and then the Shadow Sneak will knock him out. So I'm like, okay, last Pokemon, Mawile. Switch into King Shoe mode, and then it doesn't actually use anything against me. I outspeed it. Destiny Bond takes him out with me, and we beat Ariana with just like with all that. And of course, we got to face off against Giovanni. Giovanni's just Giovanni. Doesn't do too much. I mean, you can see. I mean, luckily Lance will carry me through it, just like always. But we cleared through that, and we beat Giovanni. Team Rocket is no more, and we head into the final gym battle of the game. We're gonna start the battle against Claire using our H-Slash. We're gonna Iron Head down to Shuckle, and then it's gonna red card me out into my Dragonite. Luckily enough, Dragonite misclicked the Dragon Tail. Did not realize I'm choice banded, so I'm stuck with Dragon Tails. The whole point of flinching down a Shuckle is gone because now he sets up Sticky Web anyways. But luckily enough, I do some chip damage against most of our Pokemon. Like half our Pokemon are like weak now, and we knock out the Shuckle eventually. Switch out my Dragonite because he's done too much down. He's done too much damage for our team. Switch into my Toxicity, Mega Stone it, Mega Evolve it, Thunderbolt down to Magnero, and get it paralyzed, and eventually 1v1 it completely. Then he can send out his Giratina next. I decided to switch into my Staraptor, evade the Sticky Web, and then Brave Bird. Send out Duraludon next, sack my Toxicity to it, switch into my double, get a Body Slam, paralyze on it. It was really good. And then I'll double kick it, do some chip damage, and then switch into my Rotom, which will Hydro Pump it. It's gonna get paralyzed, and then some reason this does so much damage. Hydro Pump. Why does Hydro Pump do so much damage? But anyways, we'll knock it out using our Rotom. And then I decided to switch into my Dragonite next. I wanted to Dragon Tail out. The Ultra Necrozma over there does not work out too well, so I got to switch into my Staraptor, do a bit of chip damage, but I'm able to Shadow Sneak it, knock him out. And then his final Pokemon will be the Eternatus in the back. I could King Shield up, and then Destiny Bomb will knock him out. And we get the 8th gym badge pretty easily. I'm not gonna lie, we got all 8 gym badges way easier than the first time I played hardcore mode somehow. Anyways, from there though, we're gonna face off against Gary, and I mean, it's just Gary, you know. He's not the champion yet, so his team not that good. We beat down Gary and then face off against Brendan, and I mean, it's just Brendan. I mean, it's literally just Brendan. Like, ooh, Brendan's not that good of a trainer. Anyways, we beat Brendan, and now we moved on from him. I mean, it's just Brendan. We're gonna go into Victory Road, and now here comes the hard part. Victory Road, surprisingly, I bought healing items, but also surprisingly, they are a bit easier than the first time I played against them. As you can see, I won't deny I did restart a few times because the battle didn't go my way, but for the most part, these battles went by pretty easily. My Mega Toxicity or my G-Max Toxicity just goes crazy. Now, unfortunately, my team has to be tinkered around a little bit, just a little bit. I'm replacing my Toxicity with my Metagross because I think Metagross is better in the long run. I know Toxicity is more fun to play with, and that's why I'm using him, but I gotta switch him out for the Elite Four. Now, as we head into the Elite Four, replacement for this team actually goes Brazy. So we're gonna start the battle against Lorelei. We're gonna both switch out to preserve our Rotom, but unfortunately, Kingdra had different plans, can knock me down to half HP. I still can't do anything with my Metagross. It gets clapped up, so he gets flinched. Then I'm gonna switch into my Star Raptor to double edge, knock out the Ludicolo, and then my Metagross will then headbutt the Kingdra, do a lot of damage to it, switch into my Aegislash, which will Shadow Sneak the Kingdra, and then I want to sack my Rotom Watch against the Palkia because I know it's coming after me. Then I'm gonna switch into my Dragonite. I could absorb any one hit, I could absorb, and then I'm gonna King Shield up to avoid the Earthquake because I know it's gonna do a lot of damage. It Ice Punch me in the head though, and then I actually knock out the Palkia though, so you know, pretty decent trade. I decided to Destiny Bond up because I'm scared of the Earthquake, like I said. I'm just gonna sack my Dragonite. He's gonna focus down on me, which is fine. Then I'm gonna send in my double. I know my double can live any move, barring is a special attack, but I'm gonna Thunder Wave down to Genesect, and the Swampert will knock himself out using Destiny Bond. I live a Thunder from the Genesect, and then Thunder Wave it, which is great. Then switch into my Metagross, and I'm able to get another Thunder Wave off on the Dragonite somehow. I don't know how, but I wasn't planning on this. I thought it was gonna be a 2v1 against my Metagross, but it actually becomes a 2v1 against Lorelei's Dragonite. Somehow that worked out for us because the Dragonite never ended up attacking us at all, and we beat Lorelei. Oh, look at that. Things work out pretty well. Anyways, we're gonna go into the next chamber. We're gonna face off against Bruno next. We're gonna start the battle against Bruno using our Staraptor. Brave Bird almost knocks him out as he U-turns into his Necrozma. I'm like, oh, get out of here. I'm gonna switch into my Dragonite and I Earthquake him. And then I activate his weakness policy. But he missed his Stone Edge twice. And I'm able to Earthquake him again. I'm like, well, I mean, that was convenient. That was convenient. I knock out the Necrozma. I'm just guessing moves at this point. I don't know what to do. So I switch into my Dragonite again. Then he's gonna send out a Zamazenta. I'm like, this is scary. Switch out into my Staraptor, he gets blasted in the face, so unfortunately he goes down. Switch into my double, I'm gonna counter him, and I'm like, this is a bad idea, because he just keeps setting up in front of me. Eventually he actually tries to hit me, and that was a bad mistake. I counter him and knock out the Zamazenta. He's gonna send an Zacian. I'm like, well, I don't think I can take another one. I don't. So I'm gonna switch into my Aegislash next. I'm gonna Destiny Bond in front of him. I don't Destiny Bond? Okay, that was a bad play. I'm Iron Heading. Why am I trying to 1v1 the Zacian? I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. Shadow Sneak does not knock him out. That was a bad play. But luckily, I have so much priority on my team, it doesn't matter. So that was a bad play, but luckily it ended up fine as I knock out the Urshifu as well. Then he's gonna send out his Mega Medicham, which, I mean, Metagross way outclasses Meta Medicham. This is a whole tongue twister. But we knock out Bruno, and we head into the next chamber. The next chamber will be Actus. We're gonna start the battle using our Rotom against her Crocodile. We're gonna start Will-O-Wisking down the Crocodile to break his Focus Sash, and then Hydro Pump will knock him out. He's gonna send out Zaru next, kind of scary. So I'm gonna switch into my Staraptor. Luckily, he could take a Power Whip, and I have a Choice Scarf on, so I could Brave Bird and knock him out. Then Yveltal comes out next. I don't know, just Brave Bird again. I can't switch out because there's Stealth Rocks up, so I knock him down to low HP, which is great. Switch out in my double. I wanted to get something paralyzed, and then I caught a Calyrex. Switch into my Rotom. I want to get it confused. Just sack my Rotom here so I can switch into my Aegislash next. And then hopefully it will hit itself in confusion, and then Shadow Claw will knock it out. So I got rid of the Calyrex. I'm going to switch into my double to sack it against the Yveltal. It's tough. But switching my Dragonite, it will survive any hits, barring a crit. So Dragon Claw will knock him out. Then he can send out his Mewtwo, which is great. I'm going to Shadow Claw down to Mewtwo. I actually 1v1 the Mewtwo, as you can see. Survive Expanding Force, and then Shadow Claw will knock him out. Then this Victini will always Z-move up, so I'm getting Destiny Bond in front of it, and then just gonna knock itself out as we beat Agatha, and it took 25 minutes to beat Agatha. But anyways, we're gonna face off against Lance next. Lance is gonna be the 4th Elite Four member of the game. We're gonna start the battle using our Metagross against him. We're gonna Meteor Mash him, get him down to Focus Edge, and then Bullet Punch will knock him out. Then he's gonna send out his Dragonite next. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to face this thing. This thing's kind of powerful. So I decided to switch into my double. It gets set up, but then it doesn't do enough damage to me where counter matters. So I'm like, well, my double unfortunately goes down because he didn't do enough damage, which is dumb because he did more damage to me because he knocks me out. But anyways, we're gonna extreme speed him, knock him out. Then he can send out his Melmetal. I'm gonna switch into my Rotom. I'm gonna try to get a burn on it. For some reason, always switch out to his Dialga. It's annoying. And I gotta switch back and forth. He's gonna Roar Time me a lot of times. Eventually, our Staraptor will close combat knock him out. Then he's gonna send out his Rayquaza, and I'm like, oh, this is not a right time for this Rayquaza. I'm choice banded into close combat. So I want to switch out my Staraptor. Thought my Dragonite could do something. I was wrong. So Dragonite gets blasted in the face with an extreme speed by a Mega Rayquaza. Then I'm gonna switch into my Staraptor. Double Edge almost knocks him out. Still living, so I'm gonna switch into my Metagross. Bullet Punch still doesn't knock him out. This thing is immortal apparently. So Shadow Sneak will finally knock him out, as I have infinite priority apparently. Melmetal comes out next. I debated using Destiny Bond, but I'm like, no, I think Rotom could 1v1 it, so I'll switch into my Rotom. Rotom does not have a lot of HP, I'll tell you that, but Will-O-Wisp will burn him, so now can survive any move as long as he's just alive. And then I'm trying to confuse Ray, switch into his Arceus for some reason. So I'm like, can see what happens. I'm gonna both switch out. Hopefully it hits itself in confusion again, and it actually does hit itself as a Destiny Bond up. Then it can hit me with a Flamethrower. I take down the Arceus with me, and then it's only a 1v1, and I'm banking on this the whole time. So I'm gonna Fuse Ray him. Doesn't hit himself ever. It's kind of strange, but Hydro Pump will eventually knock him out, and we beat Lance. Oh, that was a tough battle. That was one of the tougher battles. The last two, Lance and Agda, a bit tougher. Lorelei, Bruno, went by pretty quick. Anyways, it's time for the champion. We're going to face off against the champion now, against Gary. We're going to start the battle using my Metagross against his Kyogre. I actually outspeed him, so I'm getting Mega up and then Zen Headbutt. I'm looking for a flinch, never get the flinch. I live against the Kyogre with 1 HP, so I can outspeed it, Zen Headbutt, knock him out. Then I'm like, oh, that's a Swampert. Swamperts are strong. So I'm going to switch into my Double next. Double can take any hits, and then counter will almost knock him out. Just doesn't knock him out. Double is choking at the end, but Double has done a lot for us. Switch into my Metagross next. Bullet Punch him to knock him out. Then he can send us Necrozma. Oh, look, an Ultra Necrozma too. So I'm going to Bullet Punch. He's going to knock me out. It's completely fine. I switch out into my Staraptor next. And Staraptor will clean out Double Edge. Almost everything just doesn't knock it out in one shot. So unfortunately, I gotta switch it into my Aegislash. Shadow Sneak will knock him out. Then he's gonna sound his Arceus Steel. I'm like, that's kind of scary. So I'm switch out into my Rotom Wash. Look, I do some damage against him. I should have just Will-O-Wisp. Why didn't I Will-O-Wisp? But anyways, switch out, get a lot of damage to it. Switch out into my Aegislash, and then I know it's not gonna Earthquake me because I'm floating. So I switch into my Aegislash, and luckily I Shadow Sneak and knock him out. Then he's gonna send out Xerneas next. I'm like, he's gonna Geomancy. So Destiny Bond in front of him, and then he's gonna knock me out using Thunder, and I take down the Xerneas with me. Next up, a final Pokemon on his team will be the Eternatus. I survive a Dynamax Cannon and then Dragon Claw, and with an extreme speed will knock him out. I'm choice banded in, so I gotta switch out, sack my Rotom Wash, but eventually we'll knock out the Eternatus, and we beat Gary. We beat the champion, and more importantly, we beat this challenge. We beat Pokemon Radical Red Hardcore mode with only shiny Pokemon. Oh my god, and my voice hurts so much from commentating all that. I don't know if that turned out well or not, but that was a lot of speaking. But anyways, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment down below some challenge ideas just like this one, and subscribe if you guys are not already. I hope you guys all enjoyed this shiny video. It was fun to make. Anyways, see you guys next time.